I thought Fred Warner set the tone when he knocked us all out of Najee Harris. We didn't see Najee Harris for 2 quarters after that.
We went right to it, and I'm glad you did, because my big takeaway from that game, as well as yours, we were texting in our group thread, Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner against the team that, like, if you were thinking of the Pittsburgh Steelers, don't you think of linebackers?
You think of linebacker, Right?
And I know Bowman and Willis are like the gold standard, and no one's going to probably knock them off the pedestal. These guys have been elite for a couple years now. We got to start like really appreciating and recognizing how unique and how great they are. Just go around the league.
Yeah.
There's only a handful of guys you would even put in the conversation to go up against Greenlaw and Warner. And your point about knocking the soul out of Naji is well taken. How about the play down the field to tip the ball up in the air so it can get intercepted? How many linebackers are covering guys that far down the field?
So he's playing in the box. He's filling gaps in a run game. He's knocking running backs' heads off, Fred Warner, that is. Early in the game, he almost had a pick six, but everything was going haywire. He's in the right spot at the right time. He's 20 yards down the field, knocking passes to Hufanga. I thought in the pass game, in the run game, again, this guy, Fred Warner's just stacking games together. I thought the Dallas Cowboy game in the playoff game was his best ever game.
I agree with that.
This game right here, Pittsburgh, I think he's starting a Defensive Player of the Year campaign.
Whoa.
That's what I saw from number 54 yesterday.
Whoa.
Sideline to sideline, you're filling gaps, you're smacking running backs, you're playing the pass well. What can he not do? He's going sideline to sideline, number 54. And I think when it's all said and done, we may speak about Fred Warner in the same way that we speak about Patrick Willis. He's playing that good of football right now. There's no drop-off from D'Amico, no drop-off from Robert Saleh. I'm telling you, Fred Warner's here. He has arrived as the best linebacker in all of pro football.
You know, it's funny. If you even say Patrick Willis, it almost feels unfair to someone like Fred Warner. But I'm being dead serious. Willis, I hold in like the highest of high regards.
Right.
And their games were different because like back then, there were more fullbacks in the league. You had to take on that fullback and still make a tackle. Like, it was just a different game. In terms of the modern game, name me a guy who's better at all of the facets that a middle linebacker is asked to accomplish.
There's nobody better right now. There's nobody better. He plays big. The way he hunts running backs in the backfield.
Close
he plays
out
through the block. Everything about him. And he make sure you pay for that hit.
Yes.
He's a physical guy who's got some finesse to his game. I thought the first hit on Najee Harris, when he smacked Najee in the hole right there, Najee only had 6 carries.
I thought he was going to be better in general in the league.
I just thought he just got bullied yesterday.
You think that's what it was?
That's what it was. I think Fred Warner took that challenge hit. I know there's Najee Harris. If he gets some daylight, he could break a long one. This young guy, Jalen Warren, as a backup, he can break one. Well, they snuffed Pittsburgh and really getting out to that lead. You took the running game out of the equation for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You turned it into a one-dimensional team that we talked about on Friday. And all of a sudden, they're dropping back 46 times with Kenny Pickett. Well, Bosa, Drake Jackson, Cleve Farrell, Eric Garfstead, Javon Hargrave. And if you want to bring a blitzer, Fred Warner or Drake Greenlaw, then go ahead and do it. But they shut that down. The run game made them a one-dimensional team. That's played into the Niners' heads. Drake Greenlaw, real quick.
Oh, he's just a monster.
I mean,
he's him. By the way, his speed, is he the fastest linebacker the Niners have ever had?
I don't know, man. He covers ground.
Honestly,
101. I mean, this
who's
guy
faster?
I don't know. Fred Warner. I don't know. Maybe you got the 2 fastest linebackers on the same team.
I thought it was Bowman. I think he might be faster than Bowman.
Maybe. But
right the way he separates guys from the ball and the way he closes out, and for a guy his size, he's just an absolute monster.
No, he is.
He's so good.
He's out here clotheslining guys on the sideline. I do not care.
And then he's banging his wrists into his helmet.
He's nasty. He's a nasty player.
Did Bosa have? Honest to God, I'm watching the game back. You know, I'm trying to chart certain things. I felt like he was double and triple teamed on every single possession.
He was, and that's why that other edge rusher that I was. Hey, who's going to step up?
We all were.
Who's going to step up? Because they're going to have an advantageous situation there every single snap because of the Bosa effect. Bosa's going to get doubled. Somebody's going to see one-on-one alongside that line. And I thought stunning on the other side, whether it's with Eric Armstead or Javon Hargrave, I thought Drake Jackson and Cleve Farrell. Now, it's not going to show up in the box. It's not going to show up in the box score. I thought Farrell set the edge very well on first and second down. And then you get Drake Jackson to clean it up. He had a setback in training camp. We didn't hear from him.
Yes.
I was a little concerned about him. Where is he at?
We all were.
Here is he at? He was inactive for the last few games last season. With Drake Jackson, number 95, he's here to stay. He's here to play. And I saw that early on when he cleaned up Eric Armstead's rush there. Look, there's nothing to complain about this morning, Niner fans. 888-957-9570. This looked like a team that's on the mission. This looked like a team that knows we want to be in Las Vegas in February and accomplish something this franchise hasn't done since the mid-'90s. That was a team, despite all the distractions in trading camp, despite the trade of Trey Lance, despite Bosa's holdout, they looked like a team that was together, and they meant business yesterday at Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's a big-time development for the 49ers.
When I think of the 49er wide receivers, just the legacy of the Niner wide receivers, one of the hallmarks of each of their best players, whether it's T.O., whether it's Jerry Rice, when they had Anquan Bolden, the physicality to block is the most underrated aspect, right? We don't. It's always like how many yards, how many catches, how many touchdown passes did they receive? And I'm looking at that pancake block by Brandon Aiyuk on the first drive of the second half. You said it to the group message. You're like, this is a crucial drive after the Steelers come down and score a touchdown right before halftime. They need to come out and they need to do something. That's as good of a pancake block in the open field as I can remember from anyone. Lineman, wide receiver, fullback. He splattered that guy.
I'm telling you.
Brandon Aiyuk.
I got shades of John Taylor. Blocking downfield for Jerry Rice. Blocking downfield for Roger Craig. I got shades of Jerry Rice blocking downfield for these running backs. I got shades of Terrell Owens blocking downfield for Garrison Hurst to open the 1998 season. Brandon Aiyuk has come of age, folks. Brandon Aiyuk has arrived, and he is the number one wide receiver, which, look, it doesn't matter. Yesterday was his day. Debo, you look around, he still ended up with 5 catches and 55 yards. It was still a factor. But Brandon Aiyuk, as much as we talked about that draft, and, oh, man, we should have had Jerry Jeudy, or you should have had CeeDee Lamb, or you should have had Henry Ruggs III, or Jalen Reagor Burnett. The Niners got their guy.
Yeah,
he's now in a conversation with CeeDee Lamb. Now, Justin Jefferson's in a world of his own, but in terms of CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Aiyuk, CeeDee Lamb can't run block like Brandon Aiyuk. I'm taking Brandon Aiyuk right now over CeeDee Lamb. And a lot of people are going to say, Bonte, you're taking crazy pills. Look at what Aiyuk is doing. The rapport he's built with
the fourth
Brock
option.
Purdy.
Well, at times.
The fourth option. I think he may be the number one option now in the passing game.
Now he's elevated himself. There's no doubt about it. The contested catch for the touchdown. I mean, honestly, when was the last time, and I'm sure that you're going to remember, when was the last time a Niner receiver caught a ball with a guy draped on him like that?
I can't
remember. Receiver.
I can't remember. Anquan Bolden, maybe?
That's what I was thinking of, Anquan Bolden.
Anquan Bolden, maybe?
Like that.
Maybe?
That catch was as good. And then to have the wherewithal to get both feet down? Are you kidding me?
His body control is insane.
I couldn't believe it.
His route running has come of age. Brandon Aiyuk is here, folks. And, you know, you heard, and we've been going back and forth about this, not me and you per se, but I always ask you, it's like, why is everybody so quick to say you got to pick between Aiyuk and Debo?
Drives me crazy.
Why not just have both?
I know.
Aiyuk's not going anywhere, folks. He will be a 49er for many years to come. This system's made for him. He elevates the system and the rapport he has with Brock Purdy.
100%.
I mean, Brock Purdy, and look, Brock Purdy, what's there to complain about? Again, today's my measure. What is there to complain about if you're a 49er fan? You got a Super Bowl ready roster, and you got a quarterback who is cool, calm, and collected. Do I want him to take better care of the football in the pocket? Sure. TJ Watt is a monster, though. He's a monster.
TJ Watt might be one of the best pass rushers. Like, he's a top 10 pass rusher in the last 40 years.
But he's unbelievable.
He's incredible.
He's incredible.
He's an incredible player.
But Brock Purdy, whether it's the middle of the field, whether it's the sideline.
How about the pocket presence?
The pocket presence.
When a free rusher's coming at you to be able to do that?
Brock Purdy looked smooth yesterday.
Incredible.
He looked smooth going into that stadium against that defense and play the way he did. 19 to 29, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns. I didn't chart one interceptable ball yesterday.
Well, there was the one ball that Peterson stepped in front of. I think it was to George Kittle.
But
even on that play, like, I thought it was whatever. It wasn't, to me, that wasn't like oh no throw. It was just a better play by the DB to break up the pass. I didn't think it was interceptable. Does that make sense?
Yep, no doubt.
Right? Like, to me, there's a difference.
Right.
Hey, look, if you want to be nitpicky on Purdy.
Okay, you want to do that one play, fine. I'll give you that one play. But for the most part,
he was
Purdy,
flawless.
He played a clean game.
He was amazing. And I love the way that he was delivering the ball. To me, when I'm looking at Kenny Pickett and when I'm looking at Brock Purdy looked like the first-round draft pick.
Right.
Kenny Pickett looked like the guy who, he's telegraphing passes. He doesn't throw with anticipation. I'm talking about Kenny Pickett now.
Right.
He has this elongated telegraphy throwing motion where his left arm takes forever to get the ball out. Like he has to lead with that left shoulder. I don't like him at all as a prospect.
He missed some easy throws yesterday. He missed some big plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I'm going to give credit to that 49ers pass rush. The pass rush got the Kenny Pickett. It rattled him. By the way, the offensive line, we're not going to talk much about the offensive line because they did their jobs. Now, Colton McKivitt had his hands full.
Burford had a couple of missteps,
had a couple penalties. But when you run the ball the way you did, McCaffrey with the 152 yards rushing, the Niners rushed yesterday 34 times for 5.5 yards a carry.
You know why they got him? Like, there was a play where Juszczyk made a beautiful block to kind of just a little tiny hole. It's a little tiny hole. Right. And McCaffrey just squeezes in between it. And then, boom, bursts for another 5, 6, 7 yards. There's an art to running the rock and finding the little creases and then making yourself small, getting through them, and then having the physicality to finish the run and have your feet keep moving. CMC, like the 65-yarders are going to get the headlines.
Right.
It's the little things with CMC, the patience, the knife through the line. He's as good of a running back as I've seen.
No, Christian McCaffrey's a baller. But, again, this offensive line, for as much as people, oh, man, this line is a big concern. I thought they held up well yesterday, especially in the pass game. Look, overall, this is special teams. How about Mitch Wisnowski punting the ball?
How about his run?
I thought
on the block.
Oh, yeah, the block. He was good, too.
I was like, look at my rugby guy.
But look, Mitch Wisnowski had a hell of a day punting. 3 inside the 20-yard line.
Yes.
Some long punts. Some pinning of Pittsburgh Steelers deep into their own territory. And then we get Jake Moody. Jake Moody did look like the lights were bright for him yesterday. He looked very good, but making all 6 of his field goal attempts.
There was a sequence right after the 2-minute warning where the Niners had, I believe, a 3rd and 15 where they had like false started and they pushed themselves back. To me, and I'm watching it back and I'm thinking, was Shanahan trying not to put his young kicker in a position of missing a long field goal early in the season because he threw the ball? And I was thinking what I wanted him to do. And again, we're telling nitpicky. Okay. I wanted to wait till later on in the week, but Tomlin burned his last time out. You run the ball there, you tick off 40 seconds. They don't have any time to stop the clock. Maybe they don't get that 7 points at the end. You take a long field goal attempt. Maybe that's the sequence there. I feel very nitpicky even bringing that up. But I was thinking, after watching it back the second time, maybe he was trying to avoid a 55-yard field goal for his rookie kicker.
Pittsburgh took the ball and scored anyway, right, on that possession.
Yeah, but they used a lot of time.
They used a lot of time.
And so maybe there wasn't that much time. Again, nitpicky. I'm being very nitpicky.
I like the decision. You're up 20-0. Pittsburgh's not having a lot of timeouts. Your defense is having so much success.
Yeah, that's true.
You can pin them deep. And then if you pin them deep and maybe you get a couple stops, maybe you use your timeouts to have one last hurrah before halftime.
That's a good point.
I had no problem with him punting the ball right there. You're up 20-0.
I mean, you're up 20-0. I sound like a lunatic.
You want to play the field position. I thought it was the right decision by Kyle Shanahan. I think he trusts Jake Moody. I don't think he has a problem with letting Jake Moody kick a 55-yard field goal.
He split that first one right down the middle, and I said, I think everybody in Niner fandom was saying to themselves, all right, good, we're good to go. Maybe the kid's just a gamer. Preseason's not for him.
When I think about that situation, I said, man, punt the ball. You pinned them inside the 5-yard line. Pittsburgh went 95 yards. You let your guard down a little bit.
There was a couple of penalties,
in the first half. But a couple penalties, but some missed tackles.
Yes, missed tackles.
They went at Avery Thomas a little bit into the first half. So give Pittsburgh credit. They were desperate. They converted a 4th down on that possession. But I thought, again, the biggest drive of the game coming out of halftime. What do you do with the football when you come out of halftime?
Yes.
Well, what do? They hand the ball off to McCaffrey. He goes 65 yards. Game over. Game over. Game over. Just like that. So the Niners are 1-0, and we go from, boy, Pittsburgh is going to be a tough place to play. Boy, this is going to be a tough game to win, to got the Rams on deck, the New York Giants who just got to shut out 40-0, and then you got the Arizona Cardinals. Who's to say you can't lose a game in September?
Who lost to the Commanders?
Yeah, but they actually played harder than
I know. They had the lead. I thought they were going to win.
The Commanders looked bad. I thought
the Commanders are bad.
They were 7-point favorites.
I mean, both those teams are bad. I just feel very foolish for overrating the Pittsburgh Steelers. And maybe it's just
maybe
the Niners.
Maybe they're not overrated.
What?
Maybe they're not overrated.
You just think the Niners are that good?
The Niners are a Super Bowl contender.
I mean, that was as thorough of a first half as they've had. I can't remember game 1, thorough first half. Even the Detroit game, they gave up some yards in that first half. They were almost flawless.
That was a rough game. It's going to